What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Gav episode 14. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Josh, we're going to jump timelines today, and I'm going to ask you a question, and then a statement, and then I'm going to address a talent that I have, and how it works in this statement, or something like that.
It's like a magic show. Okay,
It's like a
I'm
magic
ready.
show. Do you know what Scholastic Scrimmage is?
Scholastic Scrimmage.
Scholastic, like
No,
book.
like the books. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't.
So I don't know if it's just a Pennsylvania thing then, or if it's a United States thing or whatever. So in high school, they have Scholastic Scrimmage, which is basically two teams of four doing like, I'm gonna call it like school trivia, but school trivia and like, hey, if you studied in geography class, like you could probably knock a bunch of this out. Or the kids that were like geniuses in like calculus in high school would be like a spot on the team because they ask you dumb math questions and stuff like that. So when I was in high school, I thought Scholastic Scrimmage was cool as like the, whatever they're called, like what your little side things you can do.
Like an extracurricular.
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was like a fun extracurricular thing. So I always went, and then all the questions were too hard. It was either too schooly or too like out there with math. Like I'm going to put math in a separate category because I feel like being good at hard math, like calculus level math, is its own skill and has nothing to do with book learning necessarily. I think
Okay,
it's its own
sure.
adjacent thing. So I went to all the practice things. My one friend made it on the team for math. I never made it. I always failed. I went for fun, blah, blah, blah. So as you know, most weeks I try to go to bar trivia, something that I'm good at, and only because apparently it's like useless knowledge trivia and not so much like school learning. And that I've come to that conclusion today because Scholastic Scrimmage was on television tonight, and I saw it on TV, and I was like, I'm fucking firing this up. I was like, I'm 40 some years old now. These kids are like 16. There's no way that I should lose in the show at this point. So lo and behold, I turned it on, and I still fucking suck at that game. These fucking high school kids are like, because the one category was like Greek myths, and then one was which attorney general in 2024 wants to make social media banned or put like the Surgeon General warning on social media, and then your bonus question. All right, get your pens and paper out. If x squared equals 17 and y squared equals 9, what is z? And like they start busting all this shit out and just stare at the TV. And I was like, I've effectively like established my problem. I just am not good at school.
I'm just bad at school.
I always loved trivia. I am bad at school or like actual knowledge things, but like my useless trivia brain is like through the roof. Like 150 galaxy brain IQ in useless trivia, but like 80 in school.
Yeah, because you win your like trivia week every week at your bar and stuff. Like you're good at this. You have trounced me in Jeopardy for the NES. Yeah,
and even Jeopardy is like more like it's not useless trivia, but it's not school trivia. That's just like world knowledge mixed with dumb puns and like.
I think
rock
you and
around
me,
the clock, and all the words start with rock. Ha ha ha! Get it?
I think you and me were the same because I'm gonna let myself into being good at trivia, and even though we've proven that that's not actually true in any of the things we've done, but no, I think you and I are good. We are students of
the world
of media. We're students of media, right? Like we grew up playing video games and consuming pop culture, I think probably at a higher level than a lot of people, and we've continued to do that, where I think a lot of people don't to the degree that we do. So I think we probably have, you and I have like a wider breadth of knowledge on that stuff than probably the average person does.
I'm more like a real big kiddie pool than I am.
Yeah, for sure.
A quarry of knowledge.
I think I am as well. Yeah, but it's a kiddie pool that is like, but large, but only centered on pop culture type things, not on like you said, not on the things that would win in Scholastic Scrimmage. Also,
But
I looked it up, by the way. It is it's a game show that was launched in 1975. So they've been going for nearly 50 years.
I know it
It,
definitely was because when I turned it on, they were like, "Welcome to the 50th season of Scholastic Scrimmage." So
and
it must have just started again.
also it airs only on your
PBS.
local PBS affiliate.
Okay, I knew it was on PBS, and before I brought this topic up, I was like, I wonder if every state has their own,
I don't
and this
think
is
so.
just it.
It's just a you thing, and I think we've zeroed in on exactly where you are because of it. um,
PBS also had Sesame Street. It's like the last like actual
yeah,
smart channel that's left, or
we
like
do like since having a kid. Um, I hadn't really like paid much attention to PBS for many years, but PBS is the goat when it comes to kids programming. Like for probably the first like
Arthur and all the
yeah,
smart shows.
they have an app that you can get on your TV or on your phone, and it just has all the PBS cartoons, and it's incredible because like there's not really any ads. There's like a few episodes of anything that you want to watch, and they have some really good stuff. Like actually, like doesn't make me want to claw my eyes out like most kids shows do. Um, so for like the first probably like 2 years of my daughter's life, she only watched PBS shows, and then it's
When
only been in the last maybe like 3 years that we've branched out and we like watched some Disney stuff here and there. But yeah, PBS is great.
it actually is, and now I think about their tagline at the end of every show, whatever, is PBS is brought to you by funding from your local blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that's why there's probably no ads because they're literally like as hands off as possible, just like we're like help us help your kids basically. I'm not gonna be able to think of the name offhand. There was a show on PBS that was basically like it was like a kids variety show, but learning things. And two distinct things I remember from that show was there was a like police procedural part of everyone,
Okay.
and like the way that they solved the cases was always using like math or science or like those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I distinctly remember a couple episodes left me with this real weird feeling in the pit of my stomach of like, oh my god, this is scary. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And I think it was called. It's not Dragnet. I think it was MathNet to like jump off of the Dragnet.
Makes
And
sense.
so whatever show that was on, you need to find that and share with your kid when she's a little bit older to help her learn. But also tied to that was randomly at the end of a bunch of episodes, there was a fake video game that played called Mathman instead of Pac-Man. And instead of Waka Waka Waka, it was Mathman, Mathman, Mathman. And basically, like, the game would load in and it'd be like, Mathman, you have to eat all the like multiples of 3 or factorials of 3 or something like that. And if you don't, like the whatever monster's gonna get you. So Mathman would like go to certain numbers and talk him out, and then the evil tornado guy would come after him, and it'd be real scary. And sometimes Mathman would win, and sometimes Mathman would lose. But I remember getting real hyped, like watching someone play video games almost, of like screaming at the dumb fake Pac-Man, like, "No, eat the 7. The 7 is the last one. We can beat it today. Like, eat the 7."
That's awesome. Did you ever do the math blasters and related games
I
in
loved all
school?
those. I loved all
Yeah.
those. Square
Uh
One. The show is called Square One.
Square one. I looked up MathNet as well, and it's hilarious looking because it looks like just a hard boiled police procedural. Like the screenshots that I'm seeing are great.
So I guess you
But
can. I'm just talking to you. You can cut it
uh
here. I want you to watch this real quick, and then we'll get back into our bullshit.
All right, Square One TV. I can narrate what I'm seeing here. All
So
right,
maybe you don't have to. Like, we'll just talk to set real quick. It's only a minute.
all right. So this is okay. So we're jumping into the Mathman game. It looks just like Pac-Man. You're totally right. Oh my gosh, this is hard though. He's got to eat multiples of 6, and there's just like 132 is here.
Yeah, and then like the tornado guy would like shit talk him while he's thinking about the numbers. and it teaches you. But I remember this so distinctly, and getting mad and knowing answers and nothing.
He also says math man, math man, math man as he walks around, like Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Pac-Man.
Yeah,
This tornado guy is a real jerk.
and
Um,
see, he lost. But
he lost, yeah.
like days like this, like it was on when I was between, I think it was 87 and 92. So at most, I was 9 for the best of it. But there was days I would know it and be like yelling at the screen because like I'd be so stoked, and like you can't fix it obviously, but
No.
like I was hyped up.
Damn you, math man. Why don't you know math better?
And then the one math net thing I distinctly remember, they were trying to figure out the distance for something, and they put a cup of water in like the cup holder in the car, and they would drive, and they were like, every time the water rocks back and forth once while we're driving is like a tenth of a mile, and they just watched the water and counted the water to use like math to figure it out,
Oh, interesting.
and that was fun.
That is really that's cool. I'll check that out. Yeah, we are like, you know, fairly selective in like shows we watch and stuff, and so my kid has a computer which is in like a public area, but it's super locked down and it can only basically play PBS Kids games. It's pretty much all that it does. She has like that website like whitelisted. And that's kind of it. I just installed Minecraft on the computer the other day, so I'm like we're expanding her games a little bit. But I was thinking about Math Blasters the other day. I'm like, man, if I could, I should find like old school Math Blasters and get this on this computer and just have her like just relive Math Blasters.
It'd probably help.
Yeah. You know what I found out today? I guess I found it the other day, and then I learned more today from her. There's a group of kids at her school that run in what she calls a crew.
Hell yeah.
So there's straight up gang activity going on in her preschool. She was telling me today about I'll change the names to protect the innocent, but she was telling me about like Gavin's crew. I'm like, well, who's in Gavin's crew? And she had a full list of everybody who's in Gavin's crew. Um, the other day there wasn't a girl in it, and today there's a girl in it. So like, okay, a
Ooh,
girl made it in the crew. I'm like, well, what does it mean to be in the crew? And it's like, well, you like when you go outside to play, you got to go
hold
outside
hands.
and you got to like just do whatever that the crew leader says. It's like, all right, well, how do you get in the crew? Like, what do you have to do something to get in the crew?
You
And then
jumped in.
she describes the jumping in process. Let me break this down for you. To get in the crew, which she says she would never want to do. She is my daughter is staunchly against crew life apparently. But to get into the crew, you have to she clarifies this is all for pretend. But you have to get pretend chopped up, pretend put on a plate, and then they all have to eat you.
That's weird, like Lord of the Flies, Yellow Jacket shit.
It's also like weirdly like Christ-like and biblical a little bit too. Like
You have to sacrifice yourself to the group, to the
exactly.
family.
So it's serious. I did ask her if they had to wear anything special if they're in the crew. Like I was trying to see if there's like Bloods and Crips rolling around, and apparently not. Apparently there's no dress code when it comes to the crew. But there's yeah, there's a whole crew. There's like 6 kids that are in this crew apparently, and they chase the other kids around and I guess like cause havoc. It's all kinds of crazy.
Well, Josh, speaking of causing havoc, before we
Mhm.
talk about this wonderfully wholesome, adorable Christmas time episode of Gav, we're gonna hit some facts here real quick.
I love
When,
those.
yeah, I'm not as fired up as I was the other day, but everyone knows I was fired up. So we're gonna have a conversation here.
It sounds like like I'm in trouble. Like you're my dad, and you're like,
Everyone's
we're
in
just gonna,
trouble.
son, we're just gonna have a
Let's have
conversation.
a conversation. I found some stuff in your room. We're just gonna talk about it. So
If
the
we,
other day,
sorry, I was just gonna riff more about what you found in my room. That's okay. Go ahead.
so the other day, Spotify Rap came out,
Yep. Th-
and
this is if you're not in our Discord, this has been
this has been brewing for a week.
it has been yeah really been going here.
So if I'm sure everyone knows. So even we'll even start from the beginning. So Spotify Wrapped is basically Spotify the music player, every year makes you this fun slide deck prezi at the end of the year of these are your top 5 bands, these are your top 5 songs. You listen to this band the most, you're in this percentage of the people that listen to the bands. Like all sorts of fun stats. They give you funny names for the type of music you listen to. Like the one year I basically had like you wake up to angsty music, this is your coffee kind of thing, and one's like other shit like that. So there was some decent ones this year. But I've listened to wildly different music this year than I have other years, specifically on Spotify, and it's mostly like all the goofy Japanese metal bands and stuff I like now. Like in my mind, I know I listen to them more than most other things. Along with that, I have 1 or 2 songs that most nights coming home from the aforementioned trivia earlier that like I play that same song every night on the way home as like a tradition. I scream and yell in the car. I blow steam off. It's like my reset for the week. So this year Spotify Rap dropped and I was like, oh shit, it's out. This is awesome. So my rap comes out and I look at the top 5 bands and I look at the top 5 songs. And I look at both these lists and I go, I know how one of these bands and one of these songs got on here. I don't know how the rest of this is on here. And I started getting mad. I was bullshitting with Navigator. I was like, this is kind of irritating. Like, this doesn't seem legit to me. So Navigator did theirs. Came the same result basically of, no, this seems weird. So at that point, that's enough motivation to me to like dig deep into the internets and everything else. Like I want analytics, I want all the information tied to this humanly possible. So I look up online, like I looked up Spotify stats first because I was like, I want to see what I played this year, and if like anything that can possibly track stats that's not Spotify Rap telling me what my stats are, I was like, that's good enough for me. I'll double check this way. If it says it's the same, hey, maybe I'm a fucking moron. I don't know. So I look up the stats thing. I tie in my actual Spotify account, and then like I can start getting information of like, yeah, other people are saying theirs is weird too. Like it's songs they never listened to or listened to once, and it's in the top bands. And I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get irritated with this because it actually seems scammy. There's posts like once a year of, hey, my rap seems kind of fucked up. I don't know why. It's just maybe some weird thing with Spotify. No big deal. So I find my stats, and if I do the past year, it lines up exactly with what I would think it would line up with, and not what Spotify told me. And at that point, like the dynamite finally goes off in my head, and I'm like, "Fuck, fucking Spotify! This is fucking bullshit. I'm so mad about this." I got on all
You
the
came in hot, yeah, for
I
sure.
came in real hot.
Yeah.
I went on all the social things. Everyone was posting like hashtag Spotify Wrapped. Like, look at my top 5 favorite bands. This is so cool. The number one best, I don't know, yacht rocker or whatever. So my Spotify Wrap post is basically these numbers are bullshit. I see what you guys are doing. You're really fucking over the smaller bands that everyone's listening to. Because when I started looking into this more and more, I figured out that most people's there's at least one band in everyone's top 5 that I saw that the artist would be one of the people that do the short
Yep.
of like,
Yep.
hey, you love Taylor Swift. Like mine was the people from Point North, which is like a Toby like emo core band, and Spencer from Iceland Kills, who does one every year because Spencer loves this shit. And I was like, that's real suspect that all of mine are basically bands that would have one of these videos and not so much like one of the bands I listen to a ton is Passcode, which is like a small Japanese like kawaii metal girl screamy band. And I was like, there's no way Spotify called Passcode to be like, hey, drop a short for us so we can put it for your super fans. And at that point, I got double ragey and I was like, fuck this. This is rigged for the bands that Spotify pushes, that Spotify can get videos out of. And Spotify sends you the emails of, oh, hey, so and so is in your town. Want to go to their show? Get tickets through us, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So then I all fired up. And at that point, it was just a me rage. I was like, this is bullshit. I'm onto this bullshit. Everyone else was posted this year. I found out later, like, this whole thing is fucked. All of our songs are wrong. Spotify apparently started using Google AI this year to make Wrapped instead of doing it how they used to.
Yeah,
So,
because I dug into this a bit further too. And so Spotify like laid off like 25% of their staff in the past year.
so they made AI do the work. Like we're
And then
missing fingers on the hand.
yes, exactly. And specifically, they laid off a bunch of the Wrapped team, and one guy I think in particular who did their like data set like manipulation and their data tool. So like literally I think that they fired the people who knew what they were doing to do like the data collation that builds Wrapped. So yeah, that's not good.
So, yeah, and like I said, like most of it was just affecting me. Like everyone else's, if theirs is weird, like it is what it is. It's not a huge deal, but to me, it was like I really wanted to see like what bands I actually listened to the most this year, and it didn't do that, and I was so excited for it to do it that just kind of pissed me off. Like in my mind, I just wanted to be able to send like the little bands I like, hey, look, you're in my top 5. Like you're my number 2 favorite band. Isn't this cool? Because
Yeah.
when I thought about it more, I was like, well, if record labels or agencies or bands or whoever use like Spotify stats for like figuring out touring, like no one's gonna look at certain bands because they're gonna be like, oh, well, no one plays them. Oh, they were no one's top 5. They were no one's here. And then I started getting mad for little bands because I was like, this is fucking bullshit too. And now you're fucking around with the bands. So I had this crazy arc. I yelled in our Discord at patreon.com/the comment writers.
You did.
Like
Yeah.
I had a moment and I was like, at first it was just me being stupid, but like me escalating myself, which I do. And then when I started realizing it was a real thing, it just fired me up more because I was like, I actually think I'm on to something. And in my dream scenario, like the funny goofy one, like I'm adjacent to like small music YouTubers. Like, I bullshit with Todd all the time.
Mhm.
Like that group I'm friends with. And I was like, in my brain, I was like, is this my hero moment where like I bitch and Todd notices it? And then Todd's like, well, if this is true, that's kind of fucked up. And then Todd's friends with like actual bands. And then maybe actual bands notice it. And I was like, could this be the spark to burn down Spotify? And then I got real excited about it. So like that was I had a moment of like, this could be cool if it actually blows up. Of course it didn't. Like people randomly bitched. Like I saw articles today or from yesterday, like, yeah, everyone online's pissed about this. Everyone
Yeah.
has a ton of
Yeah.
likes. So I was like, okay, like it's out there. People know that's good. But I thought about it, and through all my complaining the past week, I came up with a new plan where next year I'm making a brand new Spotify account. I'm going to listen to one band and one band only on that account the entire year. And I want to see if Spotify gives me like a fake Wrapped or just says like, you listen to this one band, this is the top 5 songs. Because at that
uh
point, I think that's the best. At that point, I had a theory. I did the scientific method of testing.
yeah.
I feel like it cracks it all down.
I think so. I
And you
love
and,
that.
and you
I
know
love
what?
there's a theme with you now recently of just wanting to burn things to the ground, wanting to
No,
be
it
the
was
catalyst. You want to be the catalyst that destroys things. This came up with Toei. This has come up with Spotify now.
what. So
You just want to be the match that gets thrown into the fire.
the Toei thing was on when we watched Boom Boomger last week. So
Yeah.
again, on our patreon.com/the comment writers, you can do watch alongs with us. We're watching Boom Boomger, O's, and I think we're switching series soon because Boom Boomger is almost over. But like we were joking around about gavv last week when Valen and the crab monster were like slow splashing in the water. So I made like a re-edit music video thing of the Happy Together song we joked about last week on the podcast. And I was like, this is fucking funny. And then I thought about it because especially when you were like, this works so well, I was like, I want to tweet this at the actors who are in the show. And you were like, please don't do that. This is how Kamen Rider got banned from the United States last time.
Yeah.
So basically, like that was enough of the nudge for my like chaotic good of being like, maybe I want to do this. Like that'd be funny to me. And I even told Josh, like, wouldn't it be cool if like one of your close friends ruined all of the Toeiverse in America? And you were like, no, not really. Please don't do that.
Because I told you in that episode, like that's destroying two things for me, not just one, which is extra funny because you're destroying both like me watching Kamen Rider and the podcast all at the same time.
Yeah. So I think like Spotify Wrapped came out the day after this. So it's not that I'm trying to burn everything down. It was just a funny 24 hours of here are two distinct situations with like the right comment that everything goes to shit. And that was funny to me.
That is funny. My Spotify rap was like pretty spot on for me, honestly. I didn't really have any complaints. Mine was like, oh
That's
yeah,
because
those are.
that's because you listen to the big bands, you motherfucker.
I don't. I do not. Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
And then so
it did feel like they inserted Taking Back Sunday into my list specifically because it was the one band that had a message, like
see,
a recorded message. Yeah,
see, I'm fucking telling you, that
because
has
like
to be part of
listen,
it.
I like Taking Back Sunday. I don't think that they are as high on my list as they put them. That's all I'm saying.
And then like, so after my all my ranting and raving and stuff, I was told privately that realistically the way Spotify works, and I think they even address it, is they only data mine 10 months of the year. Like they won't do like they don't do until Wrap drops. They do like January 1st to end of October, I think.
Yeah, for
And then they
sure.
give themselves all of the month of November to make Wrapped, and then they drop Wrapped.
That makes
So
sense.
that, I mean, I laughed and I was like, yeah, that actually makes the most sense. I'm not arguing that fact. I still
And
think the numbers are off, but that makes more sense to me.
and they, I mean, like they probably genuinely do fudge it. I think that's a reasonable conspiracy theory to have is that they fudge it. Uh, if you're at all close to one of the bands that they have a message for, I bet that they fudge the numbers so that you can see that message. That wouldn't shock me.
And
Um,
then, and
but
it's
but
funny too.
any of those like other stat sites you're looking at too, like yeah, they're not going to be cutting off a month, and like listening habits for a month of data on Spotify could change a lot, right? Like that could really sway your data one way or another. So like it's probably not all malicious, but like there probably is some weird like fudging of the numbers happening for sure.
Yeah. So that, yeah, so that's
Speaking
the Spotify story.
speaking of fudging the numbers in Spotify, Toby, should we go over our podcast wrapped? We get a wrapped for the show. Do you want to hear our stats?
Yeah, let's hear the lies.
All
Let's
right, let's see.
fill my stomach with lies. Make a lie good cheeser for me.
It's gonna feel good because according to Spotify, we took it to a whole new level this year, Toby.
Woo! We
We
sure did.
gained we gained plus 19% listeners.
Ooh,
We gained plus 64% in streams.
that sounds even better.
And we gained, this is a good one, plus 104% in followers. So like
Yeah,
more
like
than doubled.
hey,
That's
that
good.
that's a thing. That's awesome.
That's really the the most that I have there. Let's see. 76% of our listeners discovered us in the past year, which is pretty cool.
So we're on an
Um,
uptick. That's awesome. That's like an
yep.
actual like uptick noticed.
Yeah, that is for sure is an uptick. Our top episode was the gavv episode 1, which makes sense. You know, new show comes out. And then that episode, yeah, that was our most streamed episode. Sorry, it takes forever to scroll through these dumb wrapped things. And then our audience breakdown, which I found this very interesting. Um, our audience is 26% 18 to 24 and 29% 25 to 29. So nearly half of our audience is 18 to 29.
We're right in that key demo.
We really are. Yeah, we should be getting like advertisers out the butt. We're fully in that key demo. We 5% of our listeners are 45 to 54. So shout out to you out there if you're our one listener who's 54. That's fun.
That's me listening through. That's me listening through the podcast.
Yeah. Listeners age 25 to 29 grew the most. Grew by 85% this year. And in terms of where people are listening from, which is pretty cool, we were streamed in 19 different countries.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, the US was our top country, and other things that are other shows that our fans like. So it is generally stuff like live play D&D is big, like the Critical Role podcasts, D&D, Myths and Legends, that kind of stuff. So yeah, we are I guess in that company, in like the nerdy podcast company.
Shocked.
And then music that our listeners like.
Oh
Which
no.
feels like just maybe just you and me, but it is number 1 pop punk, number 2 upbeat, number 3 emo.
That's. I wonder how that does. I guess it probably tracks it the same way rap does. Like if you
Probably,
if you
yeah.
listen to the podcast, they just like high level scrub your listening habits and go, this is the number one genre. We'll just tag them with this, I
I
guess.
guess so. Yeah. We are a top 10 podcast for 69 fans. We're a top 5 podcast for 52 fans. And we are the number one podcast for 15 people.
That's fun.
Yeah, very fun. I think that is the end of the that's the end of the stats. But yeah, but that's pretty cool. We've seen some big growth this year for sure.
Well, I appreciate all the new and old people. I'll be nice
Indeed.
right now. I got the evil
You got
out.
the anger out. Yeah,
Got the
you got
anger
all
out. So anyone that is a top listener or a bottom listener or any of the 19 countries you said?
yeah, I think 19 countries, yeah.
Any of the 19 countries, we whoever appreciate you all, and hopefully we all can grow together for next year's Wrapped.
Was I supposed to take it sexually when you said top and bottom listeners?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
good. I did because I did for sure. Toby, you mentioned before our Patreon. Once again, that's patreon.com/the comment writers. That is a place that also we'd like to see the numbers go up. I don't know. I was trying to link that in. But $3 a month, it gets you access to all of our bonus content over there on the Patreon, as Toby mentioned, and gets you access to Discord. And it's a grand old time in our Patreon, and we hope you check it out. In addition to that, we have an email address, Toby, and the email is cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com.
The way you were saying that, I thought you forgot the email address for a second.
I did have a moment that I was thinking that I was wrong. And actually, I was going to jump into emails now, but I think maybe we'll save them for after we discuss the show, since they're the emails that I was going to read are both related to the episode. So put a little pin in that, everyone out there in podcast land, and
Tabletop it.
instead,
Parking lot it.
yeah, parking lot, exactly. We will circle back to talk about that
if there's time.
if there's time. And instead, we're going to jump into episode 14 discussion. Toby, this was the continuation of the big sister fight from last time around. That's what I'm going to call it.
That works.
I guess the twin fight instead of just sister fight.
The sibling fight.
Sibling fight. Thank you.
The great sibling rivalry has continued.
So last we saw Shoma, he was falling out of the sky towards some trees. He didn't die. He's fine.
As always.
He got hurt pretty bad, but turns out Hanto found him and fed him some ramen, so it was all okay.
No, Ramune, whatever it is. It was candy, not ramen.
Oh, was it? Okay, I thought it was ramen.
No, like they have. I am not saying the word right. They have like Ramune drinks where you like pop the marble in the top and drink it. Like they used to sell it at like Hot Topic and.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was candy. He specifically says like it's Ramune, whatever candy, and then he chomped down some candy because it looked like pills.
Oh, hang on, I'm scrubbing back through now. Oh, it is Ramune. I guess I just read over it when I was watching the first time. It makes way more sense then that he'd get candy.
I thought it was a very like. This kind of started my takeaway of the three friend friendship end of the thing. This started a vibe for me with Hanto. I wrote a note for it, but I'll wait until we get to the end of the episode for me to hit you with my new favorite trio stat.
Okay. I continue to love the relationship between Shoma and Hanto, because like just the like helping him out here in the forest and then like walking him home, and like it was all very cute. And it continues to be very cute. They get Shoma home, and all that he wants to do, his entire motivation for surviving basically this fight and getting home, was because that he was desperate to try the cake that he made with Sachika. and she's like, you got to get to a hospital. He's like, no, the cake though. We got to do the cake.
It was the best of all the dumb 2-episode arc pieces that like they carry over for no reason. The drive for the cake took up the past 2 episodes now.
Yeah.
And it was still the greatest arc of all time. And even before like they found that Shoma was near dead in the woods, Sachika called him when Shoma scrolls through his phone. She must have called him like 35 times.
Yeah, a bunch, yeah.
I thought like it was impressive that like it starts with her like trying to call him like, where is he? Why isn't he home? Where is he? Why isn't he home? She falls asleep waiting for him to get home, like the next morning, I would assume. But made me laugh because instead of making the drama of why isn't he answering me? What a jerk! I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna get home. Whatever. She only has the tiniest flash of I can't believe he's not answering me. Like, why is he being so dumb? And instantly from that point, it just snaps into, oh my god, I hope one of my best friends are okay. And the
Yeah.
entire thing, the rest of the time, was just the pure, oh my god, I hope he's okay, and like no dumb madness, no anything else. And it's like the anti Hallmark movie, where instead of having that moment and like freaking the fuck out and adding 30 minutes to the movie, instead it was, oh no, but maybe something's wrong. I should wait and find out first. I was like, this is
Y-
fantastic.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, she wakes up in that moment. She's like she gets the text back where he's like, I'll be home soon. And she wakes up at the desk and she's like, but you're not home yet. Like she like is still worried, even though she got the text back from him, which is so cute. And then yeah, he walks in the door, he's all beat up, and she's just instant like, "Oh no, you should go to the hospital. What are we doing?" Um, she assumes he's been beaten up by like a roving gang, basically.
And she wants to
Um,
fight him later.
yeah, she's
Like,
ready to go out and just bust some heads, which is the most. From what we know of her from 14 episodes, it is the most Sachika thing ever to just decide to go beat up a gang just for Shoma. That's perfect.
like yeah, and she even had a bat ready. She even like grabbed a bat and she's like, "Yo, hold up! If you're going out, I'm rolling. We're rolling. We're going gang today, and we're all doing this together."
Hell yeah. Um, of course, the twins are still at large as well, and around this time, we get to see the twins decide that they're still going to track down Shoma, draw him out while he's injured, and we get to see like the most awesome thing ever, where one of the twins just freaking murks one of her little agents because he like gives her bad news that Shoma
Yeah,
escaped.
yeah. She basically like point blank, gun to the face, like shot him, fell
Yep,
down, shot him once while he was on the ground.
double taps him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then at some point, I think it was closer when they. I think it was when they refought Shoma. At one point, the twins get like demonic voices. The screen glitches out like crazy, and they have a full moment of like, "Motherfucker, we hate you. We are going to kill you today." And like the screen's like glitching out. Their voices get demonic. Like I said, get demonic, and it was just so good. Like they do like in the earlier episodes, they do like the weird little silly anime tropes of like, hey, there's a purple storm cloud over the person's head because they're sad, but like this is the fun way to emote it and things like that. I just thought it was like the best way to do that presentation of like, no, they are done screwing around now. Like today
Yeah.
is going to be the day where someone's getting hurt today.
I I thought that yeah, for sure. I thought that their whole I guess motivation this episode was interesting. So their kind of stories, of course, yes, we've been talking about kind of what they've been up to, and obviously their standing in the stomach family is not going great for them. They've been kind of kicked out, sort of, and they kind of blame it all on Shoma. And this episode, they basically set off a giant bomb, and in the explosion, left a message for Shoma telling him where to go to meet them, or they would do it again. So when he shows up to meet them, they are kind of like telling him that all of their misfortune is his fault, and we get some flashbacks. And really, the flashbacks don't paint that to be true, even from like a warped perspective. Like the flashbacks are just sort of like their kids and their siblings don't have a ton of time for them at their birthday, and their father also doesn't have a ton of time for them, but like Shoma's just there and they decide to hate him because of that, even though like
No, well,
he in the
no.
flashbacks tries to be friendly with them.
It no, you again, you're reading this all wrong, Joshua.
Please tell me, please enlighten me.
Because they go back to the birthday cake scene from last episode
Yeah,
where
yeah,
Shoma tries to give him the cake. Like it's the extension of that. So basically, like they get their cake, and the family's like, "Okay, it's off to work now,"
yeah, gotta
and
go.
everyone leaves. So all they want is attention because their parents leave them, and then tied to that, when they go to try to find mom and dad, dad says like, "Oh, we need to test on Shoma more," we need to see how this is progressing. Let's go talk to Shoma. So they're jealous because instead of their birthday being celebrated and them having their parents' love, they all their parents care about is their shitty stepbrother who they don't really want in the first place.
Well,
Followed up,
we don't know who their mom is, right? We only we know who
isn't
Shoma's mom is, but we don't know
isn't
who their.
Glada?
No, I think Glada's a sister. I think.
Okay,
I think.
I assume Glada was mom with the other guy, but okay. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter.
We can look into it. Yeah, but yeah,
So
like
like,
the dad is like on the phone with Dente and being like, "Oh, so you think that'll make Shoma stronger?" and like kind of ignores the twins
yeah.
because of it. Yeah.
So then they go do the creepy thing where they go find Shoma and his mom, who cares about him hanging out, and they do this really cool thing where like it's like 8-year-old kids, but with like the wolf masks,
Yeah.
like staring in a dark hallway, just watching Shoma and his mom be a real family. So not only was their family ignoring them for Shoma, Shoma had his own family anyway, so he didn't even need the special attention. So that I mean, they're basically like the stereotypical like redheaded stepchild of like no one wants me in my family. They're mad because from both sides they were like no one cares about us, but everyone cares about Shoma.
Which is funny because like as we know the reality of Shoma is like
He was a
basically
prisoner.
a prisoner more or less as everything we know. He was the like weird doesn't fit in on either side person. His mom ends up getting killed by them. Like it just he has the worst like Harry Potter-esque existence
Yeah,
imaginable.
that's basically what he is.
And these freaking Dursleys here who have everything they want are like, oh, why does he have everything? uh but I
For a reference most people won't get. If this was the Brady Bunch, like the twins are Jan screaming Shoma Shoma Shoma, mad at their hot older sister.
yeah, yeah, I guess that's fair.
So like, I mean like, yes, it's not in the common writer verse. I mean like a reason to try to murder this kid over and over and over is probably not the logical conclusion of that. Like I hate my stepbrother rage, but at least like it's an actual functioning thing that happens in real life.
It
Like
is. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, so it's not
I
that you said that, but you said oh there's no reason. It's dumb, but there's a
well,
reason. There's at
I
least
guess
a reason.
yeah, you're right. You're right. I guess what I'm voicing is like it's a weird thing like the twins are like grown now. And it's I totally get still harboring those like childhood resentments, but it's weird as an adult to like give voice to them in the form of like you're the reason bad things are happening to us now. You know what I mean? Like I could see like feeling it, but like I feel like that would come out as just rage instead of like specifically being like, no, it's you. I don't know, but you're right. There is like a through line there for sure. Um,
Well, I mean, like to even to go back to that, like sure, like Shoma, Gav, whatever, is catching extra shit, but like they got kicked out of the family because Shoma's Gav now, and Gav keeps freeing people and killing
that's true.
the
He is
monsters.
like
So
the modern day version of him is actively
yeah,
ruining their business. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
So probably it re brought up all these old feelings.
Yeah, like the time you tried to give me a flower, you piece of shit. I really liked so Shoma very often is portrayed as this like childlike figure still, and eating the candy and all of his excitement and stuff. And I loved in this moment where they're like, this is all your fault. Like you did this to us. He like kind of put his foot down and was like, no, fuck this. Like you killed my mom and you killed all of these people just because you were mad at me. Like I love that he was like, no, like that's not happening. Which led to
and
his like big transformation and stuff. But
yeah,
it was a
and
cool moment for him.
yeah, I can like even tied to that was like he wasn't healed up enough to go fight again, but after he saw like they did an explosion, hurt people, whatever, that's when like he was like, "No, we're going back out there." And Hanto was like, "Well, I'll go with you at least, and like I'll watch over you." And that's when Sachiko was like, "I'll bring my freaking bat. We'll go." And they're like, "No, no, stay
Yeah.
home." Like I'll, but and like Sachiko's only thing was, "I don't care if you leave. You just have to promise me you're coming back." And she's like, "That's all I want." And he's like, "I promise, I'll be back." And then when he goes off with uh Valen, Hanto, whatever, they have an almost same moment where Valen's like, "Why aren't you running towards where the attacks are? Why are you running the opposite direction?" And Shoma's like, "No, no, no, this is my thing." And when they're talking about it, like Hanto's like, "Well, why are you so like stoked up on this one? Why is this a you thing? Like we're friends." And Shoma's like, "Well, they killed my mom. Like I'm going to handle this today." And even Hanto, the same thing, was just like, "Okay, you just need to make me one promise." And he gives him a fist bump, and he's like, "Just make sure you win."
Yeah. Dude, I love the two of them together. I love all three of them together.
Yeah, so
It's
they're
really
so
good.
good. And like it's
Um,
funny. So after all of that, um, I guess we'll do the fight first, and then I'll give you my statement on the three of them.
well, last thought about the twins here too in this kind of dialogue before the fight starts. I really liked that in Shoma's sort of fighting back, he was like, "Yeah, but all these human lives," and the second he equates them to human lives, the twins, that's when they have their big blow up moment. I was like, "You're comparing us to humans? Like you're so worthless. How dare you?" I love that we got to see their like weird granute racism. like they couldn't even fathom the correlation that like the thing that they're doing is bad because they're doing it to humans and humans don't matter. Like that was like, "Oh wow, you guys are very evil." Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so then like this episode was basically just like Shoma eating cake and then the twins fight. So to finish the Shoma eating cake part before we wrap up like this kind of short but like emotional episode. So when Shoma got nearly murdered, finally got home, he's like we're gonna eat our cake together. Like we're gonna have a good time. And they eat the cake together. Shoma's like, or Chica's like, "Oh, this is amazing! Like you did such a good job. I'm so proud of you." And he gets this like the butterfly look in his face, like tingly stomach, like, "Wow, I did it." And then he's eating it, and he's like, "No, but this cake tastes really extra good." He's like, "I've had cake. I love cake, but this is like extra good cake." And it was basically the meaning of it was when it's something this special with your friends, it's just better.
Yep.
I thought it was really cool. Like I could feel the emotions welling up. I was like, "This is like actually fucking adorable. Like this is an amazing moment." So he poops out a special cake Gochizo, and I was like, "Okay, like cake form, like it's gonna be a thing today. Let's go." So when he during the fight, when they started pissing him off of like, "Yeah, like you're talking to us like humans are the same, they're not," and everything else, he gets so raged that cake form like super evolves, or I guess evolves in general, or worked, right? Or something along those lines.
Like the one that comes out, or what do you mean?
Like
Or
when during the actual twins fight,
oh yeah,
when
yeah,
he
yeah.
rolls in and he gets his newest form for the week
Yep.
and probably goes down the road.
Cocking.
Yeah. So like he basically turns into a common rider version of the cake he made for him and Sachika
Yep, exactly, with the strawberries and everything.
with
Yeah.
the strawberries and everything. And it was like the vibe was effectively like powered by love and caring about your friends and doing whatever else. Like it seems like that's what actually activated the Gochizo to be like, we're going crazy for him now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
Which is
his
super cool.
yeah, like it was the perfect culmination of this whole episode, or like the whole cake drama, we'll call it. But it was crazy because, like, even I don't know if they'll show the full thing every time, but like when Valen did his the first time, and I was like, this is fucking cool. Like he's chocolate, and it's literally the foil that comes off the chocolate that wraps him
Yeah.
or unwraps. I was like, that's really cool. Like the cake form is literally a cake gets assembled. The cake gets iced, like someone was actually baking a cake. The strawberries rain on the cake, and then he turns into the rider form. And I was like, this is the craziest, like the whole thing was just perfect. Like the whole cake 2-day drama was just like the best, most poignant thing ever for this dumb kid show, basically.
Yeah, we build up to it just beautifully. Um, the henshin's amazing, which I feel like all the Gav like henshin I guess advancements we'll call them are really cool. Like the candy in the bag and like everything we've seen that they do as part of the henshin. It's just been really neat. And yeah, this one was no exception. And then the cake form looks awesome. I think it's really, really cool looking. Um, doesn't look really goofy at all, even though it is a giant cake. It looks just kind of badass and powerful.
Yeah, like he looks like a knight or a king, basically. Like he
Yes.
actually looks like a serious business guy now.
which is why I think the other form is a portmanteau of cake and king
Yeah,
because
that works.
yeah, he's a king cake guy now.
And
And
like even
also
the
the thing we haven't mentioned, he poops out like two little helpers in the fight too. He's got like little guys that come out and help him, little like
yeah,
whipped cream dudes.
yeah, like it's amazing. Like he actually gets like he can spawn familiars now. Like when it like because there was
Yeah,
6 or 8 agents that were attacking him more so than the twins were. And like of course he's kicking ass because now he's in super form, has a badass sword, has magic powers. But like just so he wouldn't get overwhelmed, like he actually like spawns familiars, and now he has like actual like cake friends that help him, made of whipped cream, which looks a little gross when they do it, but whatever. But like he's just like he went like super OP and really only in like the first third of the show. It was just awesome.
yeah. Um, as far as the toy stuff goes too, like the little cake piece is like shaped like a cake slice. Like there's like an extra little thing that pops out and goes in a little sword and stuff. I haven't looked up the toys to see like what that all looks like, but I'm assuming that all matches as well as what you can buy. Um, and then the big culmination of the fight, Toby, is that one of the twins basically gets destroyed. So he does his big, huge cake break finisher,
Well,
directs it at the twins, and one of them pushes the other one out of the way and kind of like accepts their fate and kind of takes the big hit for the other twin.
and even the setup to that was kind of like for like deep Shoma emotion, whatever. Because they're still kind of like shit talking him when he's in Cake King form. And they're bullshitting about something. And again, they make comments about like their shitty childhood, Shoma fucked up their life, whatever. And he gets this moment where he just like gets like quiet but loud or whatever. And he's like, but I would have loved if we ate cake together.
And he has like a little like memory. It didn't happen, but he has like a vision of basically like them as kids eating cake together.
Yeah, like all he wanted was when he was little with them, like to all be friends and like chill and like have a nice actual family. And they've always been shitty to him.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I
I
just thought that was a cool like much like he got the super armor from like again like the power of love and friendship basically like it made him the most badass form of himself. The same kind of thing of like it's a good action hero quote of like I'm gonna hit you with one last zinger before I kill you or like whatever kind of deal. Where it was just like I would have loved if we ate the cake and just like that was like his final like motivation of like no like you guys killed my mom, you guys are murdering normal people now, and all this is predicated on the fact that all I want to do was hang out with you when I was little, and you
yeah.
guys were dicks to me.
Well, also that kind of shows his like his regret at it all too. Yeah, it's like he knows what he has to do because he's the hero and he's protecting people, but it's just like, yeah, exactly. It's like I just wanted to be family with you, and you've pushed me away, and you've continued to be horrible monsters this whole time. So this is what it's led to. Um, so yeah, I think Shoma showed a lot of growth in these two episodes, especially this one. Because yeah, we get the like deepening friendship with Sachika, and we get the like staunch resolution of doing hard things, being the hero because it's the right thing to do, and like not just being the little boy filled with wonder who just eats the funny snacks, but he actually is the person who can step up and take these people out, which is cool.
And
Uh, I really love in general. I think in these episodes we've seen this now with Glada, and we've seen it with the twins. They're doing such a great job of making the enemies feel really dangerous. Like a lot of these shows you think back to like putties and Power Rangers and stuff, and it's just like there's never any drama, even really around the big bad monster of the week. It's always just like, well, sure, they're fighting him, but like you're never really worried. And it feels like for some reason with the Stomach family, they're way more dangerous. They're hitting harder. They like everyone's scared of them. Sugar and like Shoma gets beaten up like crazy constantly. Like they're doing a really good job of really demonstrating their power level, which is neat.
yeah, because I mean, like in general, all the fights that have been happening with the family in the first part of the show are usually like end boss fights at the back half of the show when they're like,
Yeah.
okay, you worked your way up to us now, like now it's gonna be a real fight, but we done it all. super early and made it like an actual big deal thing.
And like really we're only just now, you know, with the like upgraded cake form and stuff getting to the point where just agent fights are are not like incredibly taxing. Like he can handle them a little bit cuz now he's got his little whipped cream dudes and stuff, but like we're still kind of in a place where even just like a regular minion type of dude is like a little bit of a challenge, which is very cool.
And then like the funny, goofy little thing that kind of goes with it is the cake Good Shizo does not die when he pops out. He just pops back out and like
Oh, like hangs
waved.
out. Yeah, he like
Yeah, like he
waves.
kind
Yeah.
of like I mean effectively waved for him as much as a little block thing could. But like he got used instead of him dying like the rest of them, he just kind of came out and was like, "All right, buddy, see you next time. Like we're just good to go here," kind of thing.
He's special. You gotta keep him nice.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm assuming the difference is he doesn't come in a blind box. He comes with a sword. I bet is the difference.
Oh yeah, he comes with the sword for us for $72. Unless you want the gavv belt as well, then he's 130.
Worth
So
it.
yeah, so he's here forever.
Worth every penny.
So
Uh
then
yeah.
after the fight, the other part with the trio that I wanted to point out was so like he still gets his ass beat. Hanto still gets him out of there. He gets back home to Sachika. He gets home. There's like a feast all over the table, and he's like, "Holy shit, what's this?" And she's like, "Well, I know you're always hungry after you guys go out and screw around, so I wanted to make sure you actually had food here this time for when you guys got home." So of course he goes for the sweets, and she's like, "No, eat dinner first. Like we're gonna, like be a normal person, just eat dinner first, kind of thing." And it was that moment where she's like, "Okay, you came home. It's time to eat dinner now. Like, don't ruin your appetite on sweets." Hanto kind of gives him a nod, like, "Yeah, man, just go with it. It's okay." And it's not that I think they're all friends at this point. Like, I think the actual way I see that friendship group now is like Sachika's mom and Hanto's dad, and
Yeah, pretty
Shoma's the
much.
kid, and not in like a weird like, not in that he's like a baby moron thing, but it's like he has two friends
Look out for him.
who like are friend like obviously friends, but like they also go the extra step and like to go all the way back, like when he was dying in the woods, Hanto was like, "Hey kiddo, don't worry, I always pack snacks when I'm out. I have one for you. I see you're hungry. Enjoy your snack." And then like at the end of the episode, or most of the episode, Sachika was obviously like ride or die friendship with like, "Oh no, like I'll bring the bat, we'll go out together." And then it settled into just promise me you're coming home, much like your parent would tell you, just make
Yeah.
sure you come home by 10.
Yep.
So like not in a bad way, but it's like they are as much his friends as I feel like they are like parental units to him,
Yeah.
more so than just friends.
Well, I think a big theme of the show obviously is family, and they are his found family, right? Or they're becoming his found family, where it's the thing he's always wanted. It's the thing that he didn't have when he was a kid, and now, yeah, they're the people who make sure he's okay and make sure he doesn't fill up on sweets, and they're the parental units or uh sibling, affection, whatever that he had been missing throughout his childhood. He's finding it now, which is very, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
I like it. As much as we like joke about shipping, Hanto and Shoma and stuff, like it definitely is much more like they're, especially juxtaposed to the twins and those flashbacks that we got today. Um, they're fitting that role for sure. It is family.
Yeah, like I think like for all the shipping jokes and like even I'm gonna call out the internet, the 108% people that come join us now or whatever the hell number it was. Like I think effectively, like obviously people are gonna people. I think you have to stop shipping them at this point. Like the friendship, relationship, whatever is too is entirely too familial. Like there's no actual romance tied to it. There's no like when Shoma ate the cake, it really wasn't like me and my girlfriend are gonna eat cake. She loves it.
No, it
It
was
was
so pure.
right. It was more like you could see in his eyes, like, I made this cake for this person that I care about and takes care of me, and I'm just so like I'm so proud and happy that I was able to do this for her, and this is awesome, and I did proud for her, and she's so happy. Like
Yeah.
it was just I think today fixes today sinks the ship unless you're a super weirdo to me.
I think so too. Yeah. All right. Well, that's Gav episode 14.
Well,
Certainly
no,
a
wait. And then
oh,
the last little, there's two last little cutaways at the end.
okay.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
the first one was the twin who's still here is again like beat the shit, crawling in the rain, miserable, like
Chopping their hair off with a
yeah,
sword.
literally like I'm gonna fucking kill Gav again. Like this
Yeah.
escalated because the twin died, and their whole thing the past couple episodes was it's us against the world. I will never leave you. We're not gonna get sold off somewhere because we won't be together. Like we're doing all these things. Like it's us. So like the one that was there didn't cut off all of her hair, but like she cut a chunk out. I guess because she was just that mad, didn't know what to do with it. That she just like chopped some hair off, which I guess is a thing.
It was like it was on one side. It was on like it was the black hair because they have like the black and the white. So like
Yeah,
it was maybe supposed to represent like the other
the other half.
twin's side. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that was it's escalating the I'm seriously gonna kill this guy, like extra mad, more
Yeah.
mad than ever. And then the little cutaway thing real quick after that was uh earlier in the episode, Pidgey showed up for like 30 seconds and like stole some of the Gochizos and was like, oh cool, like little
And
Gav's getting bigger, little Gav's getting tough.
for
We got to
everyone
see
keeping up at home, Pidgey is Niev in this case, one of the
every
stomach
no.
family members.
If you're here, you know who Pidgey is. He is the older lookalike brother of Pidgey from
From
Geats.
Geats.
Yeah,
Two shows ago now at this point. Yeah.
people know. Listen, people know.
The people know. The people know.
But yeah, so anyway, so earlier he stole a couple of Gachizos. He's like, wow, he's getting tougher. These are pretty legit. Let's see what these guys are. And then at the end, Pidgey shows up in Suga's lab because Suga's like, hey, like I wonder if we should do more work on Valen, and like talking to himself, he's like, should I dump more whatever into Valen and try to toughen him up more, see how far we can push this. And then that's when Pidgey showed up and was like, I think he made a comment, but even if he didn't make a comment, it was the knowing nod of like, no, we're together, don't worry about it. And we're like, okay, so it's all coming together now. Like there's ties between the evil Stomach family and the helpers that are on the earth, and everyone's against everyone, and
Yep.
sets up the next like I guess it sets up the next arc or the next like chunk of arc of like, hey, like everyone's kind of actually against Valen. Let's see where this goes, kind of deal.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I was looking at the exact wording when he came in to see Suga, and it's like it's good evening, and then he just says good evening, Suga-san. So like, yeah, he knows his name, and it's like, yeah, clearly we're gonna launch into finding out more about Suga very soon. Which is very fun. All right. Well, with that, Toby, let's jump into some emails here.
Let's do it.
Our first email comes in from Kieran. Once again, cast@commonwritersucks.com is the email address. Kieran says, so first, Gav was mashing it. Now he's excited about his new form. He's so excited about his new form. He's squeezing his sword and shooting his cream everywhere. Are we sure this show is for children? Yes, there's
It's
plenty
not.
of
I think we've established a while ago it's not actually for children. This is the
yeah.
most adult child Common Writer thing ever. This is for the key demo. This is for like
I was about to say.
19 to 29s, whatever the hell it comes out to.
Yeah, hit me with the 25 to 29. That's what the show's for. The people who really respect a good jizz joke. Kieran says, "Is there a term for someone killing their sister? Because that shit was wild. There actually is. It's fratricide is the term for killing your brother or your sister. Fratricide. Like Navigator said, it's not even the Christmas episode yet. I didn't expect to lose one of the stomachs so early, but Ryder being Ryder, no one ever stays dead. Though I'm sure you can revive people in the show. So I'm not sure you revive people in this show. So maybe she'll be the exception.
I'm pretty sure she's staying dead.
I think
or
so. Yeah.
or whichever twin's distinctly gone, because it ruins. Like I bitched in other shows, whether it be like the Kamen Rider stuff or like I've bitched about Stranger Things a bunch of times now. Like this was such a turning point moment for all the characters. I feel like you can't bring the twin back because it negates a lot of things that happen then. I mean, not that they can't, but I feel like bringing the twin back will negate a lot of shit that happened to build up to where everyone is at this point.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Kieran says, and speaking of the Christmas episode, since we're nearly there, what are your guesses for what's going to happen?
See,
Uh
I would have guessed death again because that's what they do at Christmas to upset me as much as possible.
huh.
Well, but we got the death out of the way now.
We
So
did.
I can't imagine there's another death, and we already got the Yule log form, so that negates the possibility of like special Christmas form. So I'm not actually sure what
I
Christmas
I
would be, other than
I
like with the way the characters are now. I could just excuse me. I could just see it being like none of us have families. Let's have our family Christmas together.
oh, that'd be cute.
And that actually being like the nice moment for the year of like the three of them sitting down doing presents together, getting each other dumb jokes they know, tied to each other, like get Shoma candy, you get Sachika, I don't know what, some sort of book or something, I don't know. But like I feel like I feel like this Christmas is not going to be a negative one. I feel like it's going to be positive, where like the Christmas present giving part is going to be like the nice emotional moment for the season this year.
I can see that. Yeah, I'll buy that. As far as the drama for Christmas, I think that might be centered around the sugar betrayal. I think we might get some real uh heartstring type stuff there, maybe. Who knows? But that would at least line up, I think, with when we're gonna see some of that happen. Maybe everyone dies. Who knows? Maybe the show just ends.
That'd be a funny way.
Toby, our next email comes in from our friend Shade. Um, Shade says, "Hello, everybody. We're back for another episode. By the way, you guys remember that hotcakes gochizo joke I made a few episodes back? It was foreshadowing all along. Because this time on Commentator Gav, Shoma attempts to answer one of the internet's most burning questions: Is it real or is it cake?" Have you ever watched those shows, Toby, where they make like very like realistic looking cake things, and then you have to guess whether it's a real thing or whether it's cake?
I've never watched the shows. I do appreciate a good Instagram story highlight reel, whatever the fuck
Sure,
they're called,
sure.
where like it's just rapid fire. Look at all these things that are not really cakes or they're not really foods. Like there's some, like I know like Netflix has their own show that
Yeah,
they
that's the one that
co-opted.
I've watched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I enjoy watching them because the people that are good are amazing. Like there's no like middle ground with it. Either it literally looks exactly like something else, or it looks like shit and you can tell it's not. But like I've seen ones where like someone made a cake KFC box or a bowl or the basket where the fuck the chicken comes in. Basket? A bucket? A bucket of
The
chicken? Yeah. A
the
KFC
bucket. Yeah,
bucket.
bucket. Yeah.
I got there. So like they pulled like a whole chicken out of the bucket. They were able to cut a drumstick off the chicken like it was a real chicken. And then it was like, but look, it's cake. And there's done videos of like surprising my significant other with, I told him I made him delicious chicken wings, but he bit it and it was sugar. Ha ha ha. Watch this. I think those are fun too. Like the good ones are amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty interesting to watch. Um, and yeah, Gav can get in on it now. Shade says, for some trivia, first up is an update on Glada's actress. She hasn't been simping for her character lately, but she has been live tweeting a lot while watching the show every week. If you're wondering what her reaction to her sister dying on TV was, I quote, "Sheeta is not dead. Sheeta is not dead. Sheeta is not dead." So living in denial a bit. Shade also links fan art that she made for the show, which is cool. And Shade says, next up, something a bit different. The second transformation lesson video for Kamen Rider Gav just came out. It's region locked, although the first one is quite plain. The second one actually has some interesting stuff. The video is pretty short, so I'll recap everything if you guys don't want to dust off the old VPN. In the beginning, we see a glimpse of the Gochizo heaven and ghosts of the first couple
Hell
Gochizos
yeah! I'm glad
visiting
they go to a special place.
visiting the headquarters. Yeah, uh, that's incredible. Um, yeah, so you see like they have wings on them and halos like they're angels. You see the three Pop and Gummy from episode 1, and the Chokodon Gochizo wants to join them, so they ask Shoma to make Hanto do a transformation lesson. The Gochizos in this screenshot have done a crude drawing of Valen and his weapon using like markers and crayon, which is adorable. Hanto wants to get it done quickly. Then Shoma asks him to, quote, do it slowly for everyone. Hanto then asks, who is everyone? Um, the cocking little Gochizo guy explains to everyone that he cannot do it. He cannot die like other Gochizos, as you pointed out. And at the end, Kamen Rider Legend makes a small appearance. He was
I'm glad
actually the
someone else watched
narrator.
this because I would get very mad if that happened.
He was actually the narrator all along, but he popped up in the end to introduce himself. He says, "It is I, Kamen Rider Legend, the Kamen Rider who shines upon everything and everyone." It's also revealed that Legend has been watching Shoma all along
Oh, don't
using
get him in the show.
using the Legend Rider Gochizo that he gave Shoma at the end of Gotchard. He also said something along the lines of "Just wait for me." So maybe question mark question mark question mark.
No.
Dude, you know they're gonna loop him into the show. He's like their new Mickey Mouse. Like he's gonna be in everything.
You're right. I think now I know they're probably gonna loop into the show, but I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna if
That's
they
fair.
waste episodes again, I'm going to get mad again. I don't like him. He completely stagnated Gotchard for like 4 weeks. He is like I think that character, and at least because of the Gotchard shit, like I know for the people that liked all the throwbacks of like, hey, like he's all the old riders. He's like this old throwback rider who did the same things. I get that's fun for everybody else, and I'm not trying to take that away from people. But like, I make jokes a lot about like Kuga being the most irritating Kamen Rider, and that's based off of nothing. But I think like any joke I've ever made about Kuga being trash, I might actually feel about Legend. Like I
Yeah.
actively do not like that character.
Yeah, he's not my favorite character that we've met ever. Um he's weird. I'm torn because I kind of like the idea of him as a character, but I don't love him as much. Like he's fine for what he is, but he's not my favorite person on the shows. But I do like the idea of like, you know, these shows like to do the throwback stuff, right? Like bring in the old shows that are having an anniversary or whatever, do callbacks. Like that's a thing we're seeing a lot, especially like in Sentai and stuff too. And unlike in Sentai, where it just sort of like happens and you're like, wait, why is this showing up all of a sudden? With Kamen Rider now with Legend, we have like a built-in character that can show up and like usher in those throwbacks, which feels a little bit less jarring, kind of, I guess. But um
I guess with that statement logic tied to it, that is fair. That it's better than just like dropping things in. Now there's like a natural like stopgap of no, but he's here. Look, so now we're gonna throw back to this person.
yeah, it at least feels like there's like a through line to it instead of just doing the throwback for the sake of the throwback. But yeah, I agree. He's not my all-time favorite writer for sure. Shade goes on and says, he's got some trivia from the recent producers blog. So, as mentioned briefly in the previous highlights, Sheeta and Jeeb's monster forms are based on the Norse mythological characters Skoll and Hati. Probably butchering those names. Both are wolves that appear in Norse mythology, with Sheeta's motif Skoll being a wolf that tries to eat the sun, and Jeeb's motif Hati being a wolf that tries to eat the moon. And they are famous as opposing characters. In fact, their earrings were designed with the sun and the moon, respectively. Skoll means sneer or laughing out loud in Norse, and Hati means hatred or enemy. So it really does suit them both. Not entirely sure if they have earrings or not, so this could be a mistranslation, Shade says. But I think they.
I actually just thought of something.
Okay.
Well, no, like
I'll-
looking at I looked up the names because I knew the names sounded familiar. I think most of the artsy kind of stuff or the vibe behind those, like the actual Norse twins, are the sun and moon basically, or chasing sun and moon.
Yeah.
And like most of the pictures and the artwork and shit, obviously now is like the one wolf's orange for the sun part, the other one's bluish for the moon. And I was like, I know the one twin's blue, so coming back to look at this, like their eye colors are different in the helmets, and one is like bright white and one is like glowing blue, and it could actually be like, if we're gonna extrapolate a little bit, it's definitely a sun and a moon, because if you look at the mouth, they both have the same mouth, other than in the center of both the twins' mouth helmet pieces. There's a different insignia in the middle of their mouth, and the blue wolf has a moon kind of carved into
Oh,
the mask, and the white-eyed one has, it kind of looks like a flower, but I guess effectively it's the sun. So it's actually like been there the whole time, and it makes more sense now that someone said
that's pretty cool. Look at that, learning things here.
that.
Shade goes on from the producer's blog. Cocking's weapon, the gavv whipper, has the ability to create soldiers called whip soldiers in addition to normal whip attacks. It would be boring if they were just normal helpers, so director Sugihara came up with the idea to make them an odd couple with different physiques, to get lost during the fight, to reverse the whip by trying too hard, and to add a playful side to them. Yeah, because at one point in the battle, like one of them's like throwing up like rainbows. um, so Shade puts in parentheses, they're basically the Gochizos in an agent's body. That's 100% seems like their vibe. Yeah.
There you go.
And then Shade links a behind the scenes image of the agent getting whipped cream shot all over them. And says, all right, that's it for today. I'll now go on and watch Boom Boomjer. And then also, Toby, this is important. Shade says he heard my Marvel Snap story from last time and wants to challenge me to a battle.
There you go.
I'm something of a decent Marvel Snap player myself. 10,000 collection level, highest placement for 14,000 infinite. I'm sure I can beat you in a Snap card fight. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You keep me posted on this.
All right, we'll have to do our battle, and we'll see see what happens. I thought that I blew up Shade's spot for a second because there's a note: do not read this part out loud, but it was just the Discord handle for Shade, which I didn't read out loud. So okay, we're all safe. Yeah, I think my let me pull up my collection level so I can tell the people what I am too.
A nerd. The answer is a nerd.
The answer is very much a nerd. I went on we always talk about don't go on the subreddit of things that you enjoy. I went on the Marvel Snap subreddit today and people are freaking out, and I'm like, I'm having a good time. I don't know what you're all mad about. I'm 15,559 is my current CL.
And what was his? Or theirs?
10,000.
Oh,
So
this is no shot then. This is
yeah.
Don't even.
I'm just whatever. I'm sure Shade's very good at Marvel Snap.
I'm sure that the way this works is you really can't win, because either you win and beat someone who's not the same tier as you, and then like, okay, you did nothing, or you lose and then you lose to someone who's like 2/3 of your rank. So like, there's no actual win state for you here, and
No.
the best move is not to play.
Yeah, it's wrestling logic for sure. Like, if the underdog wins, then like, hey, I beat the big guy on the mountain. But if the big guy wins, well, the underdog put up a good fight, and of course he was going to lose because he was the underdog. Yeah, totally true, Toby. Totally true. All right, well, that is going to wrap it up for us for this week. Once again, emails if you want to send those in.
Again. We rambled too long again.
We did. Emails can go over to cast@commonwritersucks.com. And of course, the Patreon. Please do check that out for our bonus content that goes up every week. That is patreon.com/thecommentwriters. You can find all the links in the description of wherever you are watching or listening to this show. So, Toby, why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. On Blue Sky, it's Toby Tobes. And on YouTube, it's Toast Plays.
Awesome. Yeah, you can find the show on YouTube, youtube.com/prettydeece. You can also find the show on Blue Sky, which is whatever it is, at Common Writer Sucks on Blue Sky. And you can find me on Blue Sky at meek.lol. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back next time to talk about episode 15 of Common Writer Gav. And we hope you join us back for that. But in the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Peace.